it also helps them be a little bit puffier if you like puffy cookies. That's just a food blogger secret for you. Hi, I'm Amy. This is House of Nash Eats, and today we are making brownie cookies. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do with our cookies is we're going to add some softened butter and sugar to the bowl of a stand mixer. You can use just a regular bowl and a hand mixer. I just find this is easiest for me to do in a stand mixer, so that's what I use. Okay, so it's 2/3 of a cup of butter and 1.5 cups of brown sugar. And I'll leave a link to the recipe below that you can print out to follow along. So we're going to set this down and cream these for about 3 minutes until they're nice and light. Once the brown sugar and butter have creamed together, we're going to add 2 eggs. And these are green eggs because they came from our backyard chickens. And we have a couple of them that are Easter eggers and they lay green eggs. And we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Then we'll put this down and we will mix those again. Okay, it doesn't take long for those to come together. So now we're just going to grab a spatula and scrape the bottom and sides of the bowl. That way everything gets mixed together really evenly and we don't get like butter stuck on the bottom of the bowl. Okay, and I'm gonna give it one more short mix. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add is our flour, and this is just regular all-purpose flour and cocoa powder. And this is just Hershey's unsweetened natural cocoa powder, just the regular kind that you always see, and it works great. But if you have another favorite brand of cocoa powder, you're welcome to use that. Also, I'm including all of the recipe amounts and ingredients in a link below that you can print out to follow along. So I've also got 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and a little bit of salt. Now we're gonna mix those up. And I pulse it at first so that the flour and cocoa powder doesn't fly everywhere. So our chocolate cookie batter is really coming together. We're just gonna scrape off our beaters so that everything gets mixed in evenly. And we'll, oops, I'm losing my cookie dough. We're gonna scrape the sides of the bowl again as well. Give that one more mix. And then the last thing to add to our brownie cookies are some chocolate chips, and these are just semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I like to add some chopped walnuts. You don't have to add these if you don't want them, but I love walnuts in my brownies, so these make them even more like brownies, but in cookie form for me. And then we're just going to stir those ingredients in. This is a really soft cookie dough, so I like to use a cookie scoop to scoop it out. You are welcome to refrigerate this dough for an hour. You can freeze it. You can scoop it as balls of cookie dough and freeze it that way. You don't have to refrigerate it. You can bake it straight from this state. They'll still turn out great. All right, I've got my oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got my small cookie scoop, and I'm going to scoop some of this cookie dough out and drop it onto my baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And I love using a cookie scoop, not only because this is a really soft dough, like cookie dough, but it also makes sure that all of my cookies are uniform in size. And this should give you about 2 dozen brownie cookies this way. And they're very like normal sized cookies. They're not like my giant cookies. I love giant cookies too, and you could do these as giant cookies, but the bake time would be a little bit different. And they'll spread a little bit more if you're doing a giant cookie. These ones will have a better shape to them as a smaller cookie. Okay, now I'm going to go pop these in the oven for 9 to 11 minutes until they are just set, but not overdone. You want these to be nice and soft and a little bit underbaked on the inside to keep them soft. Okay, so right when your cookies come out of the oven, and this is true for really any kind of drop cookie like this, when they're still hot, if it's not like a perfect circle, you can take 2 spoons or 1 spoon and use either the backs or the sides and just go around and kind of push them around a little bit to make better circles so they're more perfect looking cookies. This is super extra and over the top an OCD of me to do, but if I'm making cookies for like photos and I want them to look really perfect, I'll take the time to do this while the cookies are still warm and soft enough that I can shape them like this. It also helps them be a little bit puffier if you like puffy cookies. That's just a food blogger secret for you. All right, so when your cookies come out of the oven, they're going to be really hot, so let them stay on the baking sheet for at least 5 to 10 minutes because these brownie cookies are really soft and they're actually going to continue to bake from the residual heat from the pan and the cookies themselves for just a little bit. So as they sit there, they're going to firm up so that they don't just fall apart when you pick them up. So these ones have been sitting here for a few minutes, and now I'm going to use my spatula to transfer them to a cooling rack to cool the rest of the way. All right, so now I get to have one of these brownie cookies. They smell so good. I've really been looking forward to this. So I'm gonna take this one and break it in half. It's so soft on the inside. I'm gonna have a bite. These are amazing. They have that great cocoa flavor of actual brownies, but they're in a cookie form. I love them with the walnuts and the chocolate chips inside. You have to have these with a glass of milk because they're super rich and super good. I hope you guys love these brownie cookies as much as we do. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more great recipes just like this, and let me know in the comments below what your favorite cookie is.